What's going on, guys, and welcome to the 2026 DMA bundle video, where I'm going to be talking about the highest quality DMA bundle that you could purchase straight from DMAKingdom for all of you 4K power user DMA users. Hopping right into it, I just want to start by saying, yes, this video is sponsored, but this sponsorship gives you guys a discount code that saves you 10% on checkout. This bundle includes a D60 ditch infuser, a palm-sized powerhouse PC. Why am I not showing you guys these things? One second. Honestly, such a cool looking device. It's much bigger than any other fuser I've ever shown on this channel. And it's got buttons and knobs. I don't know if you can hear this, but when I click in, there's a button sound, and it also makes turning sounds. And next on the list was that palm-sized PC, and they weren't lying. That's my palm, and it kind of fits in my palm. I don't have the biggest hands, but I mean, it hides it almost 100%. And this little bad boy is going to do everything you need it to do in terms of needing a second computer, meaning if you get this package, you only need this. You don't need a secondary computer. You don't need a secondary laptop. This is going to do all the cheating for you. On the front, we have two USB 3.0s. On the back, we have two USB 3.0s. We have a USB-C, an HDMI out, a HDMI out, a DC power. We have a aux, and we have an Ethernet. So that's pretty much all the IO that you're going to need. And then, of course, it also comes with a 75T, and this 75T is going to be the DMAKingdom 75T, as you can see here. And that means it does have the switch on the back. And then, of course, last but not least, you're going to get your DMAKingdom Maku. So this is going to be your Aimbot device. You're going to have one computer, your mouse, and one computer. Obviously not in that. I actually haven't used this in a little while, so I don't know if it's which one it is, but one of these is going to be your gaming PC, your mouse, and then your cheating computer. I tend to not use aimbot in a lot of the games I play in because I find, at least for me, when I'm playing legit with friends, it does kind of affect my aim. So I try to stay away from aimbot as much as possible, but ESP is still superior when it comes to cheats. So it is important to mention that with this bundle, this is the only bundle you're going to need if you are looking to be a one-stop shop. Now, of course, this bundle is a power user bundle. It's not going to be for everyone. There are the starter bundles from DMAKingdom that I would recommend. Code still works on those, but they're not going to cost you nearly as much. The starter bundle does feature the Maku and the 75T, but it will give you an HDMI fuser, kind of like I have one on my desk, but I also have two more over here. One second. And what I was talking about is these. So these are HDMI fusers. This is what you're going to get from the starter bundle if you decide to buy the starter bundle. They do come in different colors and stuff like that. You don't really get to choose. It's just based on stock. But these are the mini HDMI fusers. These are all HDMI, and this is what you'll get in a starter bundle. So either way, still pretty cool. So the main difference with the fusers, like I said, is this cool one that you're going to be getting from the 4K bundle is going to support 4K at 120 hertz. It'll support 1440p at 240 hertz and 1080p at 360 hertz. These bad boys here, the mini HDMI ones, will do 4K at 60 hertz. They will do 1440p at 120, and they'll do 1080 at 240. So a little bit of a downgrade, but most people are kind of, 2K users, 1440p gamers. So this bundle might be a little bit better, and it will save you a lot of money because that big 4K fuser is not cheap. So let's break down exactly what everything does in the package and what it supports. So coming out for that D60, it will support 4K at 120 hertz, 2K at 240 hertz, and 1080p at 360. This works via multiple display ports on the back. The only negative about this fuser is certain ultra wide displays are not supported, and it may require you to play in 16:9. For example, my monitor right here that you're seeing is a 38-inch Alienware super ultra wide. The difference between this and most 21:9 ultra wides is this one is much taller, making video editing for me a lot easier. My monitor is not supported. There was no way for me to show you gameplay, unfortunately. And the monitor that I did buy specifically for this video, it didn't support it either. So it is going to be questionable on what ultra wides are supported. I'll leave a link down below that explain which ultra wides are supported, but so far, some of the most common ones that I've found don't really seem to be, and that could also just be the Canadian market. One thing I did want to touch on about that starter bundle that we were talking about, so if you do get the starter bundle with this, you do have to support your own second PC. So there was at one point a bundle, starter bundle for just a basic starter setup with a mini PC, but I don't think they have that anymore. But as far as I'm aware, they did have a bundle. If not, you can just get a used gaming laptop or used laptop or a mini PC, such as the one that I showed you right here off of something like Facebook Marketplace. Just make sure it has AVX2 support for the CPU so that you know that you can actually use it. AVX2 support is something that a lot of people forget, and it's 100% necessary for DMA in most cases. So the second standout of this package is going to be the mini PC. This mini PC does have a Ryzen 4500U in it. It also has 8 gigs of RAM and a 128 gig M.2. So I can actually open this up and show you it, but I'm going to be honest with you. It's literally like a tiny little motherboard with a bunch of shit on it. Doesn't really matter if I show you or not. but those are the base standards of what you're going to be getting for this mini PC. And actually, if you buy now, you get one that's a little bit better than this. So the base standard that they sent me originally has been upgraded and it costs you nothing extra. But yes, this PC and the specs that I mentioned has enough power to get all of your ESP onto the fuser and render all that data, take it in and throw it out to the fuser as well as your aimbot. So that's all you really need. So when it comes to the included 75T, you can choose your firmware based on the games that you play. For BattlEye games, you'd go with BE, and that firmware would cover most games such as EFT, CS2, and other games featuring BattlEye or a lesser anti-cheat. Games that feature EAC are tricky. EAC likes to target DMA, and same goes for Faceit. For that, you kind of are going to be looking at constantly updating your firmware, constantly getting detected, and constantly having to redo it, unless your firmware provider is a magician that basically no one goes to, so the firmware stays extremely unknown. So again, there is more specialized firmware that exists and is purchasable for games running more advanced anti-cheats like Faceit and so on, but that's pretty much it. Now, when it comes to the Maku, going to control your mouse to give you aimbot, so it will read and then do inputs for you so that you can cheat with aimbot. I get this question all the time. Do you need a DMA card to use a Maku or a fuser? Yes, this thing is the brains of the operation. Without a card, this doesn't know what it's doing unless you have like a color bot, but that's, I wouldn't really call it DMA at that point. But yeah, this is pretty much useless unless you have this, and a fuser is pretty much useless unless you have this as well. So to break down the absolute basics, the DMA card is going into your gaming PC. This is reading all the data by circumventing the use of the CPU. So that's where most of your anti-cheats are going to run, is at that kernel level. This is going beyond that and directly accessing it. That's why they call it DMA, direct memory access. No CPU involvement. Anti-cheats for the most part don't really know what's going on. What the DMA is then going to do is go and give all that data into this cheating computer. Once the cheating computer and the cheat you're using puts all that data together and understands what to do with it, whether it be aimbot, exploits, people, players, animals, loot, etc., it's going to put all that data out into readable data to your Maku for aimbot, such as players, their hitboxes, their bones, etc. And then for the fuser, it's going to make ESP essentially, and the fuser is just going to convert that to a transparent image that then overlays onto your desktop so that it all lines up nice and smooth. So when it comes to the package I just showed you, it's considered top of the line. It's 4K, it's got the Maku, it's got the 75T. The only thing you could really ask for is 100T, but firmware is a little rare on those, and honestly, it's unnecessary to say the least. It's more of a flex, but at that point you're flexing why you don't do anything that anybody else does different for the most part. When it really comes down to it, firmware is the most important thing. And again, they have tons of firmware over at DMAKingdom. And not only do you save when you purchase firmware together in a bundle like this, you also save in general. So if you're looking for purchasing a package from DMAKingdom, make sure to use code TABS. And remember, I should have said this at the start of the video, but they do have US, UK, and I think one other location for deliveries. So you're not just getting shit from China. A lot of places will just drop ship. You will be getting nice quality tested components, and they will be stored in your region so that shipping is fast and for the most part duty free. Now remember, this video might be sponsored, but I myself use DMAKingdom's products. And yes, you can find places cheaper that sell this stuff, such as AliExpress, etc. But those come without support. They come without actual quality testing, which we found many, many times. We can argue this in the comments all you want, but at the end of the day, this is the best way to go about it. And these are the guys that I recommend. If you guys are looking for more DMA options or want to talk more about DMA, make sure to check them out in my Discord. My Discord's linked down below. We have an entire DMA chat section. Join it, check it out, and converse with other DMA users. My name's Tabz, and I'll see you on the next one. Later, bros. Peace. What?